Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on The Supernatural Show, a show that is not for entertainment purposes only. Today, we are going to continue our look and discernment and discussion into you know what. Everything that's been going on here for, well, a long time for some people and a lesser time for others. But we're going to get into it. We're going to take a look at a number of videos, some of which you've seen because a couple of them I've put out on my channel, and try to discern what we can from it. And because there is deception at foot, great deception at foot, and it's going to take a lot of careful discernment, even for myself, because the setup is for us to be deceived. You see, the setup is for us to be deceived. I wanted to be able to make y'all guys large, so I'm going to remove myself for a second and then put myself back in so I can make the chat bigger. That might still not work. Nope. Let me try one more time, guys. Well, apparently that's as big as I'm getting it for this show. Anyways, I like to have y'all guys in the chat with us so that you're more part of what we're doing here, because this is all about the people. It's about trying to keep the people from being deceived. Now, I'm not standing up here saying I know everything there is to know about all these things. However, I do, and it's not being said out of ego, but I do have a great level of knowledge about some of the things that are going on, but we still have to be careful, even for me, not to be deceived, because it is possible. Now we've got, of course, we all know we've got drones, different types of drones. I think there's multiple types that are being flown in the skies. There's the ones that have been seen in New Jersey and a few other places that look like the one that I just showed you. Well, it's on it's the thumbnail for this live show, and that's actually about the best photo I could find of those drones. And then we've got a couple other kinds of drones that are out there. These are all man-made things. These aren't alien crafts. They're man-made, and the government is behind them. Okay, that's just simple common sense. Do you think we have the greatest military in the world, but some people can just put up some drones from Iran, like that congressman standing there lying through his teeth? He's deceiving for the people that don't have any discernment and just believe everything the television says, the television says. They just believe all of it. But we're not going to do that. We're going to use our own discernment, think for ourselves. And I would encourage you, anything that I say, you need to think about it for yourself. Because, like I said, there is a chance that even I could be deceived. But that is the goal is not to be deceived. So we're going to try when we're looking at some of these videos and various things today. We're going to try not to make any assumptions. Okay. If the video is very interesting, fine. But we also have to realize that AI can create anything that I'm going to show you today. It could be AI because I'm not the one that filmed it. I'm not the one that was there. And it's possible that no one is there. We all know that there's a lot of AI videos coming out, and some of them will say digitally created below the video. I can guarantee you there's quite a few that are not digitally created. Looks like we just had our co-host show up. The illustrious Shannon made it once her computer got done updating for the 1,000th time. You know how those apples are. They like to change the rules of your programming on a regular basis. Well, hello, Shannon. Welcome to our show.
Well, hello, everyone.
I was just kind of doing a brief introduction, giving everybody an idea of what we're doing, and that we're not here to force ideas on people. We're here to present ideas and listen to the people as well. So we will enjoy your comments. Like I say, we've got you here in the comments with us, which I still cannot make myself. Let me see if since you're now, I can remove myself for a second and then put myself back so I can make the.
I don't see you.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to. I had it set up and it worked last show, where I could click a certain button and it would make the comments a little bigger and us a little smaller. It just ain't working this time. Oh well. So guys, let's go ahead and get on into things here. Shannon, you got any thoughts or anything you want to say or talk about before we get into the videos and various things that have been going on and try to go through and use some discernment?
I have, I have quite a bit to say, which I'm sure we'll get into throughout the show. But I would like to say this because I was watching as I was trying to get my computer going, and it is a great deception. And really, even last night, I prayed to God, please show me if the things that are inside of me and how I'm feeling about this is correct. And when I woke up this morning, I was bombarded with things that were literally right on the money of how I felt this direction was going. And God is so amazing. He put me in a place all my life for these moments coming up here and the things that I've been interested in and what I've explored and all of that kind of stuff. And really, taught me and showed me how deceptive all that was and the plans behind it. And I feel like we're in this moment now. We're about to enter into a whole nother thing that if you're not prepared inside to know that the great lengths of deception that they have been planning for a long time, long time, then you could very easily fall into the trap. So that's what I wanted to say before we get into any of this.
If you're new to this kind of stuff, here's what's first thing you got to realize. These events that are rolling out, they've really started rolling out since the eclipse on April 8th. They've been planned for, first off, easily decades, but actually probably 100 years, if not longer. It probably goes back all the way back to the creation of the to the American dream, the United States of America, because that's all it is someone's idea, someone's dream. This land could have been called anything, and it could have been set up a million different ways, but we were born into it the way it is, and it, we can change our experience, but we can't really change what's going on because they've been planning this for a long, long time. And I say that from knowledge of that and discernment of that, and lots of prayer and meditation about understanding these things. When when me and Shannon originally started the Supernatural Show, which is now about a year and a half, um, with probably about close to 150, probably about 135, 40 episodes, something like that. When we originally started, I knew that people would not like me changing my format the way I used to do just Logic Before Authority. I used to never show my face for a decade. Or I say never. You never see me live talking, because I'm not a vain person that wants to be seen. It's just that there were changes I had to choose to make in order to try to reach a larger crowd. And YouTube has worked heavily and very hard to try to stop that, but we're still here and we're still going. But I knew that people wouldn't like it, and I got a lot of flack about it, to be quite honest with you. But here we are a year and a half later, and like I've said before, Father never leads me down dead end roads. And here we are a year and a half later in the perfect position with the perfect platform for what is going on now. I do hope you guys can see that and understand now why Daniel made some changes in how he did his work. Okay. Now, with that being said, I'm watching the comments and everything, so I am wanting to interact with y'all guys. But we've got a bunch of videos as well to look at and to talk about it. Yeah, the whole Skynet and Terminator thing. I mean, literally, if you go watch it and look at the Terminators when they're coming in, they come in that ball of light with sparks and fire flashing everywhere. What they're showing you there is basically a fallen angel coming down upon the earth with a twist, of course. You know, it's in that case, it's a robot, and it's this and that, and it's evil and all kind of. And of course, fallen angels, I suppose, are evil. They broke the covenant with God. You know.
Fun fact, real quick.
Yeah.
Freshman year of high school. This was 96. That was my speech and debate final speech, was that the Terminator was real, Skynet is a real thing, and that AI was going to take over the world. And you should have, even my teacher laughed at me. They all thought I was crazy. And like, here I am today going,
all seers throughout history. And what a seer is, there's other words you can call it, whatever you want. And it's been a long time I've had to think about what am I doing and what is this and all this. And what a seer is someone who can see through the deceptions, see through the lies, can tell what's coming, maybe not see everything perfectly clear, but can see past the deception. See, because there is great magic, sorcery that's going on in this world right now. And I know some of you won't get that. I realize that because there was a time in my life where I wouldn't have got it either. And that don't make me any better than you. I'm just doing a service of trying to help you if you want to to be able to open your eyes to be able to see past the deception. A lot of the deception is built into the words, the things that they say, the things that they do, but a lot of it, even more, is about symbolism. And it's taken me, I mean, I've been studying symbolism in depth now for 15 years, I guess, maybe probably longer, but really intensely, meaning every day of the week for 15 years. I've been trying to understand. So what I'm doing with this show is trying to help y'all guys understand. I have no race in this horse in this world. No horse in this race in this world. I don't have one. I don't I don't believe in or trust any politician or any billionaire. To become a billionaire, because I've been a millionaire before, become a millionaire, you have to be willing to sell out and you have to be willing to step on people. And to become more than a millionaire, you have to be willing to join the big boys clubs because you're not going to be allowed past a certain level, just like this channel's not allowed past a certain uh, broadcast capability. I might have something close to freedom of speech, but I don't have freedom of reach, and I should. Speaking of that, y'all guys can help with that by just simply hitting that share button, maybe hitting the thumbs up, but really the sharing thing to try to get this information because there are lives and souls on the line here with what we're dealing with. And not just this whole new thing of what's happening in the skies, but in many ways. But right now, the topic, of course, is what's happening in the skies. So
I will say this that this is culminating two separate agendas and putting them into one. And you're hearing one thing on one side that could be this, and you're hearing another thing on the side of everybody who's seeing things. And just know that these things are about to merge, and it's all part of the plan. And I just kind of needed to throw that out there before we go into some of these videos, because there are obvious things that are pointing into the direction that some events may take place. And then there's another one where it's more on a spiritual, interdimensional level. And these two are about to merge.
but what they're going to also do is try to make you believe or continue to believe, because some of you do believe in aliens. I don't. I don't. There's many reasons why I don't. Did I at one time? I don't know if I believed or not, but I can remember thinking one time, well, you know, I looked at the stars and I believed the deception of what they had told me as to what stars are. So I thought, man, if those are all other places, other planets and other stars and other this and that, the training that we gave us about NASA from NASA, I thought, well, then there has to be life out there, right? But there come a point in time over a long period of educating myself and rethinking my mind that now someone's calling the Supernatural Show. I can't take the call right now. I'm sorry. I'll listen to your message though and get back with you. Okay. So they programmed us into trying to believe all these things, and so yeah, they want you to believe in aliens. That's why the third movie ever made, when the television was invented, the television with programming on it, the third movie that was ever made was an alien movie. It was aliens on the moon. And man went up there and landed on the moon and got attacked by the aliens. That was back in like 1903, somewhat 1905, somewhere's in there when the television first started coming out. And they've done thousands and thousands of alien movies since then. Not just movies, but video games, everything, all about aliens. Why? Sure, it's maybe fun to imagine fantastical things, but you have to at some point come to understand that the television is programming you. And they even tell you in what they call it. But until your mind gets mature enough, you're not going to understand these things. And that's not an insult. I'm no greater than anyone here. I've been given the beautiful opportunity of spending my life servicing others and trying to help them because y'all guys make it available for me to do this work. Y'all guys support my work, and otherwise I couldn't do this. So y'all guys are responsible for me having the time to be able to figure these things out. So y'all guys are responsible for me being able to having this knowledge. So with that, I thank you. So Shannon, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say the Holy Spirit opens us to these things, and
Yeah, and you have to
ask to be filled with the Holy Spirit so you can have the discernment, and testing the spirits and testing all these things is really important. But that being said, I do also want to mention that we're not just dealing with this stuff here on the American soil. It's all over the world right now. And
or at least it does appear to be.
Right. And but that's
and I agree with that statement, but let's throw in the word appears to be.
Appears to be. And what I do find interesting is the the big red flag guys in the other country that, have a lot of technology and stuff are saying by Friday they're going to make an announcement that's going to affect all humanity. These things keep popping up.
And what country was that? I hadn't heard that.
The China. I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got to watch. Same reason why the disciples coded their words so that the enemy wouldn't know what they were saying. So
I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying.
You're not real good at it, but you're doing fine. All right, so let's look at our first video here. I released this. It's not my video. It was, from what I know about it, I chased down the original uploader, and it's a lady of color that uploaded it on TikTok. And all the other videos on her channel were just about nothing to do with this. It's just about family and this and that and the other. And she just happened to see something in the sky one night, and her camera was able to catch it and recorded it. And then what I did, because the TikTok is a vertical video like this, is I used my editor to zoom in on the area where the action's going on and make it where it's a better presentation. So with that, there's no sound of her talking or anything. But with that, we can look at the footage of what's being seen. And I had named it, and I don't know this to be a fact, but I named it as Angel Downs a Drone. Okay. Reason why I say I don't know it's a fact because I wasn't there. Now, some of you that haven't been here a while think, how does he have a clue what an angel looks like? It's a long story, but for the last 15 years, they've been coming to me. Oh my God, he said angels was coming to him. He's a nut. No, what happens is that I first started seeing them above the mountains down in New Mexico when I was down there. And it went on every night for 2 weeks while I was camping with some other people there up on top, looking across the other mountains in the distance. They started showing up every night, doing interesting things. Then when I moved back home here, I started going down to the beach after sunset. And I started having these white orbs about the size of a Volkswagen, maybe a little bit smaller, sometimes maybe a little bit bigger, but that's on the average. A white ball of light showing up right in front of me. And when I say right in front, I mean like 50 to 100 feet, maybe 150 feet at the most. many times. I would take Miss Kim and her daughter and other people and say, let's go to the beach and look at angels. And we'd head out to go to the beach. And someone would go down. We'd sit there and wait and be patient, looking around. Bam! They would show up, not over yonder, not down yonder, not back yonder necessarily. Most of the time, they show up directly right in front of me, right where I'm looking. I've had them fly over my head. I've had them seen them cast a lightning bolt into the ocean. I've seen them flash and light up everything. On the last show we did, I tried to explain all this in high detail because I want you to know the attributes, meaning the behaviors of an angel, so that when you see one, you'll know what that is compared to the deceptions that are going on. Because there are things that are in the heavens right now that are pretending to be angels because they want to muddy the water and they don't want you to realize that there's actually angels here too. I'm not going to tell you whether they're good or bad angels. I don't know. I do know they've come to me a number of times, probably at this point, it's hard to say, but say 75 to 100. Number of angels past 200 at this point. So, with that being said, let's look at the video that says Angel downs a drone. I don't know if they're good or bad, but I'm going to tell you what I think we just seen. If you look at the video carefully, you can tell that the drone moves into the light orb. It goes to the light orb and runs into it. So, whoever the drone operator was, or maybe they're all run by AI, I don't know. But for whatever reason, that drone decided to let's test out this ball of light and see what happens. And so I don't think, from looking at the footage over and over, I don't think that the bright white and round all about, although a little red looking, like it was maybe signaling danger, because all things in this world use colors and the color code, you might say, in order to signify their current status, you might say. Like if I'm red in the face, I'm probably mad. Or if you see a snake that's got red on it, it's probably something you shouldn't touch. And the whole world goes like that, and it's no different for the heavens. Okay. So what did we just see? We seen a drone fly into what I think is, I wasn't there, so I can't say for 100% for sure. But it looks like a drone tested an orb, an angel orb, to see what would happen when it touched it. Angels are pure light. They're plasmatic. They exist inside, in my belief, a toroidal field. And just like the Ark of the Covenant, you can't touch it or it'll kill you. And so what I think is it just scrambled the brains of that drone basically when it flew into it. I've never tried to uh, approach or touch any of the angels that I've seen, but I can say that I've seen one night. I was standing there in front of the ocean after sunset. This is a normal thing a lot of times because the book of Daniel talks about Daniel standing by the water and the angels appearing over the water right after sunset. Moses on top of the mountains, it was at nighttime after the sunset. And so there's kind of some logical reasoning there, potentially at least. And so I seen one night, and I've told the story before, but it's relevant. And that's why I'm telling it. It's because we need to be able to try to use everything we have. And I'm an asset to y'all guys. I seen one appear in front of me on the water, probably about, at the most, about 75 feet in front of me. It appeared just above the waves where the waves were crashing. It appeared, it was only there for a second or two, and then it started to fade. Right when it started to fade, an electrical arc struck the ocean. I didn't hear no crack like lightning, but I seen the arc strike the ocean. That taught me something about angels. Another night, I was standing in the exact same spot, just a different night, and I was looking up, looking around, and I had to be kind of looking up like this. And one came from behind me, flying fast, and it went over my head about 25 foot above me. And sparks floated down as it went. I seen the sparks. This tells me it's plasmatic. It's, you could use the word electrical. These are the words we have, right? So we're going to have to use the words we've got. I'm sure the proper word would be much more amazing. But they're electrical, they're plasmatic, they're pure energy. They're not physical like us, okay? Even though we're similar in some ways because we are electrical too, and blah, 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 but that's a whole other story. Um, so that's part of why I say that drones cannot touch angels, and neither can people. Um, I've never had one communicate with me, as in communication. Um, but I've just seen them so many times, I know their attributes. So when we see that video, like we just seen, I think there's at least a good chance what we were seeing there is, for whatever reason, because there was 2 or 3 drones there flashing. And we're going to talk about the drones too, as to what they are, what they look like, some of that kind of thing. Um, I just got your message from the phone call, the person that called, and I'll be reading it. Just seen it come through. Now, let's look at another mystery craft. Okay, this is man-made. Don't know who made it, and I'm trying to find out if any of you recognize it or have any clue. So let's take a look at this mystery craft video. So this is not the normal type of drone that most people are seeing, but this was recorded and released recently. And to me, it looks like it's similar to the other drones, because I think this is an aircraft that has the ability to transition between hover mode, similar to a Osprey, okay, where they can take off vertical, and then the wings and the motors fold forward, and then it flies like an airplane. And looking at that, it looks like to me it probably has that kind of capability. And I have a, let me see if I have the photo right here where I can pull it up easily enough. Yeah, like this possibly. Just a second while it's loading, and I gotta get it up on the screen and share it, kind of thing. Okay. All right, here it goes. Where's my screen share button? There it is. All right. So this craft here is a good example. This is called an XP-4, I believe it is. And it's made by one of these companies like Raytheon. It's for military purposes. It's for surveillance. And what happens is, as you can see, it has rotary engines, and the wings are folded back. So it's like a drone, a regular drone like we're all familiar with. But then after it gets up in the air, it starts transitioning. These wings that you see here, they then rotate and fold out flat like an airplane. So then it can then fly like an airplane. Is this one of the drones that people are seeing? It's a good candidate, but there's no way for me to know at this point, of course. It's a good candidate, though. So, but I suspect the one we were looking at was just that, something similar to that, like that. And then we've got another example of that. And in this case, when you're looking at this next video, and Shannon, shut me up at any time if you want to talk.
I have some things, but I wanted you to get through the videos, and then I'm going to explain a lot of my background of a lot of the things that, I have to say. So,
all right. Now this one to me, after I've looked at it closely, and y'all guys will be able to see it pretty good, it looks like two drones stacked on top of each other and attached to each other. And you say, well, how can you do that? Trust me, there are companies out there that are building 5 or 6 drones that connect together like Legos and fly together as one unit, or they can separate into 5 units or 50 units. There's a military program right now that's called Nemesis, and it focuses just on that. bot drones that are very, very small, coming together, connecting together like Legos, and can fly together as one thing, or they can separate if they need to. And when they're flying together, they can take the form and look like anything they want to. But when they separate, they can separate completely. For if like a missile's coming or anything like that, they can just completely separate. And then once the danger is past, they come back together and reform what they were. I mean, we're living in basically we're almost in the Terminator movie. Why? Yeah. Oh no, you plugged probably over there in the floor. Probably fell off. It's over there in the floor.
I will say this real quick. We do know that there is technology that's been, in existence, and we've brought up Project Bluebeam and things along those lines for quite some time. So there's a myriad of things out there that are physical, spiritual, and also not really there. And when you put it all together, it's really sometimes hard to decipher what if some of these craft or drones or whatever you want to call it is really tangible and physical.
You're describing the Nemesis program from the Navy. Is
Right.
What you're saying and your understanding is exactly like you're reading from the stuff I've studied. So keep going.
It's if you think back on all of the congressional hearings that we've had over the last couple of years of this subject matter being brought up on the UAP scenario, all of those things, most of the time, these people who are in the military and through these factions talking about their experience, the things that they are encountering are disarming certain programs, certain things, certain weapons, and that's what they're saying. And right now we have a lot of evidence that's saying some things, in the radiation department are coming up. And what I like to call an FF, which I'm sure you guys would get kind of like, we've had before. False thing, FF.
Fallen angel? Well, I'm myself.
I'm trying to be coded here. An FF, like, what we experienced
really
in 2001 with the Twin Towers. Okay. So there's a lot of factions that are pointing out there are real drones that are actually out there with certain capabilities. This is all psychological warfare. There are other things that could very well be not really there, but we can visually see it to hype up things to make it even more intense. And then there is the spiritual faction of the angels, whether they are fallen or not, that are out there interacting with it. And the storyline is important because that's what direction it's going, that it plays out, that's going to affect the world. You look back on, I came from I explored aliens. I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. I was into the whole new age thing. And by the way, when DT, the Trumpster dude, says the golden age is here, that's all in a line with the new age stuff. And they were telling us that there's this thing called the Ascended Masters of all of these deities that from all these religions that people have followed for a very long time, and they all work together in the Galactic Federation of Light. And they're here to give us things and knowledge and technology and to help save the planet. But if you've all heard the narrative of many of these shows, like Childhood's End, V Nation, I think, a lot of these things, it's like they're coming here to save us, and we fall into these traps. Like, they can cure cancer, they could stop nuclear war, all of these things, but really it's a major deception, and it's to bring in these fallen back into this world. So the deception runs very deep, and they've been working on this for a very long time, predictive programming for generations, so these things can take place. It's not like they're, going to say, oh, they're invading us and we're in galactic war right now, right away. It's going to be a good thing to people. They're going to lying signs and wonders. So just keep that in mind, that these things, there are so many people out there who are really into, the new age stuff. They're going to be super excited thinking that these, things are to help us. And I feel like this is the narrative that's happening right now. Is one of the reasons they're not saying things. They're not giving us the full truth. That's just my opinion, but this is it to me. I feel so strong in this. Like, God has been leading all of us up to this moment of like, okay, the great deception is upon us now. It started. just throwing that out
Yeah. And you're right, Shannon. Very good discernment. I just got a text from one of you guys, and I can see why you sent me what you sent me. Jody sent me a text message, the reason why I know the names because I communicate with thousands of people, and I try to save names and information and stuff. So thank you, Jody, for sending this in. Jody said the mystery craft is possibly the Sukhoi 70 Okhotnik B drone, which is the drone that you're looking at on the screen right now. And if you look at it, certainly has high level resemblance to what we've seen in the mystery craft video just a few minutes ago. This real quick like this. So it's similar, and it could be the brother, and it likely is her sister to that other craft. But there's a little bit of a difference back here in this back end right here. And but some of these crafts, they can transition, change their shapes, do things. So it's hard to say, but I surely do appreciate y'all guys participating and not just being a viewer, because that one makes the show better. It makes the potential gain of knowledge better. Everything's just better. So thank you again, Jody, for sending that in. All right, let's see. I got another. I was mentioning we have a double uh, double stacked craft. Robin, thank you very much. Yep, I can understand how you feel, Robin. It's like my father knows best, so we just got to stick with it, right? Thank you very much, Jody. I appreciate it. I mean, Robin. And thank you too, Jody. But thank you, Robin West. So let's look at this next video. It's of a mystery craft. And oops, I forgot to remove that. Okay. Mystery craft that looks like to me it's two drones stacked, but they could separate. They're flying like this together on top of each other like this. There's a little bit of a separation. Looks like they could separate and fly in different directions. But let's take a look. This is another interesting. Thank you, Hoyle Sullivan, for your donation that came in on Cash App just now. Thank you, Hoyle. I do greatly appreciate it, and this show can't exist without y'all guys' support. So let's take a look. Double stack craft.
Nobody was gonna believe me. It's with my camera. Look at this thing. See? This is crazy. God, look at it. It's not a plane. Yeah, it's wild. That's not my camera. I had to go running and get my camera. Nobody was gonna believe me. It's with my camera. Look at this thing. See?
Yes to your question, Shannon. That video looks like, now to look at again, it could be even 4 crafts stacked. You know what I mean, Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's definitely 4 layers there, the best we can see. And man, that guy did a really good job, really filming that. And I don't always, not always able to tell who exactly uploads some of this footage and stuff. So, but if that's your video and you happen to see this show, hey, thank you, man. That was really good. I was put it this way, it's pretty convincing that there was somebody actually filmed that, you know. And I know that they have. I mean, let me show you this real quick. Go here. The Navy's secretive and revolutionary program to project false fleets from drone swarms. And yeah, the game now is deception. And there's a lot of articles out there, but a lot of it has to do with deception using false signatures and false a lot of things, but then using drones to make it look like there's something else, make you think it's something else. See, they're calling it the nemesis, along with a lot of other programs they're calling it. Here's the U.S. Navy wants swarms of thousands of small drones. This is from MIT. Thousands of small drones that work together in a swarm. Says, however, hundreds or thousands of drones are controlled as a single unit. And all of this may not apply to some of the things we're seeing in the skies and even some of the videos that we're presenting, but it is relevant for what's happening and what's coming, especially because you ain't seen nothing yet, I don't believe. But we're going to see things that are just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the biggest thing you need to remember is that if you're wanting to be afraid of it, it's likely deception. It doesn't mean that you should, if you see something that's crazy looking, doesn't mean you shouldn't turn around, walk away, or get away from this or that or whatever. Sometimes you might not even should look at some things, because once you put your eyes on some things, it can create enough fear in your mind that it can be dangerous for you. Your heart can fail you and things like that. These are just some of their logos from the Silent Swarm 2024. Now, are we seeing swarms of these things? We're seeing swarms of something.
Of course, there's a logo for this.
Yeah, of course. And there's one that they did just this, been practicing. Whoops, I just deleted that one by accident. But this one here was from just literally like a month ago, where they were doing a swarm practice up in Upper Michigan there. And it makes you wonder, how much of this is the beginning and the play out of what they're doing, because they're admitting it right here. These guys are the drone experts, the Navy basically, but yet they don't know if there's a ship off the coast. They don't know what the drones are, where they're. That's all nonsense. I mean, that is, and it's so obvious it's nonsense that they want us to realize it's nonsense. Just like they want us to realize that they showed Biden as a crazy lunatic old man that don't even know where the steps are at, and tell stories of children rubbing their hairs on his legs. And it's just, they want you to say, this is insane. They want to create so much chaos in the mind that you don't have the ability to discern what is actually going on.
That's what we call trauma-based mind control.
Yeah. This is a new aircraft called the Dark Horse. It's interesting how they love to use biblical names and Greek mythology names. All these names that I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. All these names where they call this thing Ra, or this thing this, or all these other names out of Egypt. It's all the same thing. It's the fallen angels and their worship of them. They give them over time and over cultures and over countries and over populations. They change the names, call them this, call them that. Just like we call an orange, but in Japan they call it something else. It's just different names for the same things. This is all a repeating cycle that is repeated and repeated and repeated. And they're giving an example of the repeating theme is this. So this was a recent television series where supernatural beings were being reborn upon the earth. Now, who are these supernatural beings that have angelic powers and can do these things? It's a cycle that this world goes through, is what I'm proposing. It's a cycle. Everything in this world operates on cycles. Our days, our nights, our lives, our birthdays, everything is a cycle. So therefore, I can see and tell that we go through these cycles, and this falling of the angels is something that doesn't just happen once, and so it was done in the past, and it's coming again. That's why it's reborn. Okay, and we've got the I don't know that I got it right here. Maybe I do, but we've got the footage with the comet Atlas. Okay, coming down with all of the stars following it. I've shown y'all guys that before. I'll show it to you again real quick, or at least part of it. So you can see there that there are objects, light objects that are following the comet down. All comets have their own trajectory in which they move, and it's not in the same movement speed or trajectory of um, what's called planets or stars or anything like that. Those were deities following a deity is what I believe we're witnessing there. And I know the things I talk about, it sounds like some wizard or another talking crazy talk, right? It is what it is. Okay. And I'm not gonna bite my tongue anymore as to what when I really feel I understand something. Now, when I even with that, I'm willing to reconsider all things at any moment with new information. So even with words I say, I may have to backtrack. But a comet coming down with things behind it, and I've seen the comet with my own eyes multiple nights, 3 nights when it was happening. That's a deity falling, and there are deities following it. That to me sounds like they're back, reborn.
To read in between some spiritual lines here, because just so you know, they, which we all know who they are, okay, they have to give you a heads up. They are bound by oath to do this. Take, for instance, Israel, another code for you know what, has now taken over Mount Hermon. What is Mount Hermon? Where the fallen came. originally the Watchers who mingled with our DNA to begin. And now
Israel, as they say, has retaken over the mountain where it is claimed that the fallen came down upon.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to mention, the Vatican, Pope Francis, is announced he is going to do a ceremony to open up 5 sacred portals on December 24th, Christmas. And the very interesting thing about
they used to call it doors. Now it's portals.
Doors, but they say, I mean, portals. I mean, it's in the articles, but
It's word magic.
those portals is a prison. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot of spiritual reading in between the lines there. They're telling you something.
But you have to be awake enough, like us, to have a clue to even attempt to understand it. And if you don't understand it, consider the things that we're saying.
And just a few months back, right, Pope Francis made this whole statement in how to spiritually discern things, which I found to be very interesting. And when I mentioned the whole Galactic Federation of Light, these ascended masters that they're talking about are all these deities throughout history, including they claim to have Jesus as an ascended master. Okay. As well as these other quote unquote alien beings from different things. So this is very interesting timing that all this stuff is coming out, because when you read in between those spiritual lines right there, they're telling you what they're about to do.
Yeah,
that
is how they operate, indeed. But you have to be making, if you're spending all your time trying to get the big house, trying to get the fancy cars, spending all your time trying to go on the greatest vacations, you're in the world and you're focusing and spending your time on that. If you're doing that, you're not going to have time or motivation to care about the things that we're talking about, and you're not going to focus on it to understand it, to discern it. And ultimately, you're trading your true knowledge, your immortal soul, for this world. And we are in this world, we are not supposed to be part of it. They want you to want the big house. They want you to want the fancy this, the fancy that, the jewelry around your neck hanging, and all these things. They want you to want them because they know if you're chasing that, you ain't chasing the truth. And they got you. They got you. Yep, indeed. I've got a few more interesting things to show here. Let's put this up here. Let's see, which one is this? I think this is the one we've already watched. I just happen to have it still up here. Yeah, already watched that one. So let's go to the next one here. This is interesting, and I put out a video about it. No, wait a minute. Excuse me. No, I didn't either. Where is my video I wanted to show? Hang on just a second here. Oh, here it is. Let's watch this first, and then we'll get to this one next. And I'm going to explain what this is on the radio on 106.9. People think they're hearing aliens. I'm going to explain what you're hearing, okay, and how it works. I could even prove it to you on the spot if I needed to. But first, let's watch this. This is the other phenomenon that's going on, and it's the flashing lights. And I kind of explained in the video what's happening and how this can be done. But we'll talk about it when it's done playing. Here we go.
All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
These are some cool wireless LEDs. You'll notice that they have their LEDs soldered onto inductors, right? It's like a 2.2 microhenry inductor, and there's an LED and capacitor. So how are they lit up? Well, there's this gigantic coil underneath. So this is like an inductive charging system.
So how that can be made to happen simply is that LED lights operate on a very low voltage. This voltage can be projected through the air using, think about it like a laser beam or a flashlight. You're projecting energy through the air. And the frequency, you can see the lights are flashing on a frequency. It's flash, 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 flash. This is a wave band that's hitting them. Bam, bam, bam. What it's doing is it's energizing the inductors or the small little Tesla coils that exist in all of the LED lights that exist in cars and in all these street lights that have all been changed to LED. All they got to do is focus a beam, a wavelength beam of energy from a drone, aircraft, maybe even a satellite, down upon a particular location, and anything that's LED is going to flash and trip out. Now, with that being said, I have witnessed what appeared to me, this was 15, 20 years ago, probably closer to 20. It was at a time in my life where me and my ex were going through a divorce. Yet we hadn't separated from the household yet. We were still both in the household. But we were basically getting ready to go through a divorce. And there was a number of things that happened. One was I was standing in a living room, and above the hearth, above my fireplace, I had a wedding photo sitting up there of me, my ex-wife, and her father, who had just passed recently, and her mother. And I was standing there, and I seen it was just sitting on its stand, kind of like, leaning back like this, and I seen it go and just fall off of the hearth and shattered on the floor, seemingly unrelated to the flashing lights, right? Well, those same weeks right in there, I would go out in the garage, and the lights on her car would be flashing, boom, 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 just for no reason, out of nowhere. They're just going off like there was an alarm going off or something, but there was no alarm, and I had the keys in my pocket. And then I would go inside sometimes and try to, brand new house, go inside, try to turn the lights on and off. And sometimes they would work, sometimes they wouldn't work. And then you come back later on, everything's fine again. So I've seen some supernatural light flashing things that can be potentially, possibly a supernatural thing where an entity is trying to get your attention. Because I probably needed my attention gotten back in that day. Okay, we'll just say that. But when it comes to the events, like one single parking lot of cars, all the lights are flashing. There's something that's focusing an energy beam into that spot on a frequency wave, and it's hitting those inductors that are in those LEDs and those lights, and it's energizing them. Poof, poof, poof. This could be very well likely what's going on with that and the street lights, because it'll be like one parking lot with anything that's LED is flashing, But anything that's not LED, like an older car or an old incandescent light bulb, I mean, what's the chances that they didn't get us to get these all these LEDs? There's a reason why they got us to get them, don't you think, Shannon?
Oh, 100%. There's, of course, a few reasons.
And one is they like to turn purple, heliotrope, because that's the sign of saying, here comes the light, here comes the morning star, here comes the fallen angels, is basically it's saying that they're coming back. I remember when I was in a hotel about a year ago, and it was owned by these Indians. They were Indians from India, and there come a date, it was September 23rd, and all of a sudden that day they turned on all these lights that were all heliotrope. And I got one of them to the side, and I said, what's going on with the heliotrope lights? And he said, oh, it's just a holiday we're celebrating. I said, tell me more about this holiday. And it was about a god that they worshiped, and that it was that they believed in, that he would come back one day, and they believe it's going to be on September 23rd of one year. And so they were celebrating that by turning on all these purple heliotrope lights. Some of you will remember the videos I put out about that. But yeah, so don't be fooled necessarily. And even if you do see flashing lights, and it is supernatural, it don't mean it can hurt you. It likely means you need to pay close attention to what's going on. There's something happening that you're trying to be warned about, is more likely what's going down there. So there's that. All right, so now we have the radio audio, right? If I can make it play.
Едем в Киев по Выборгскому, по Ленинградской области, а там, короче, в поле вот такая вот фигня, короче. Я не знаю, что это такое.
This is not the radio.
Yeah, it's like,
Nope. No, you see this? See what looks like a ball out in the distance back here? It's this thing. Now, I can't vouch that this video is real. I cannot vouch that this video is real. I just found it interesting because here we have a spear again that these guys were driving through the countryside and say that they filmed. As you can see, the spear looks reflective. It's reflecting the trees on it. The trees are reflecting on it. Could they have a technology that is a spear that lights up, that does things similar to an angel? Yeah, but this looks straight out of like the Terminator movie.
and you know, it reminds me of the orb they have at the Vatican.
Or the one that Trump and all those guys were putting their hands on, saying, we're king of the world and we're magicians.
Yep.
Same kind of thing.
Reminiscent.
Or the one that the one that Queen or King or whatever it is of Great Britain or whatever it is over there.
Oh, the thing that
they have the orb on their staff, where they'll hold it in their hand. They put it on their crown, on their staff, hold it in their hand. It's all tied to this same thing, the orb or the deity. They know that the deities, that angels truly look like this in a way. They're round, they're big, they can be bright, they're bright white and round all about, says the Book of Enoch. And I've done a lot of research into old books and what it says angels look like, and it's a ball of light. Now, again, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying that's what angels look like most of the time. You can look at the movie Starman, and they show this Starman, star meaning angel, because that's what they are. Starman coming down from space, and he crash lands on the earth, and then he turns into a little ball of light, and he comes floating across the lake, and he finds this beautiful girl and falls in love with her and decides he wants to get down, baby. It's the whole Starman movies, the whole fallen angel getting with women thing, you know.
Mhm.
Show him coming down in a ball of light. They show him landing on the earth, kind of like a Terminator or a Transformer crashing on the earth. And they show him turning into a ball of light coming across the lake. And then going in and looking at the girl and everything, and be like, whoa. It's crazy. But let me see if I've got that other video here. That one's a pretty wild one. This is like the
Ezekiel wheel looking one has been my favorite.
Wheel within a wheel. Now, could that be mechanical? Are we looking at something that is mechanical? It could be. It could be man-made, but it could also potentially be supernatural. It could be a wheel within a wheel, like Ezekiel talked about. And that's generally how I've looked at how angels operate. I'm not saying this is an angel, but it definitely looks like a wheel within a wheel, doesn't it? But I look at angels like they exist within a toroidal field because that's how God created everything, including trees, our bodies, the energy field that surrounds us. Everything, even the shape of an apple, is all based on this design. And the seed is in the middle of the apple where the actual Genesis is at. And same thing goes with an angel. His spirit or his essence is in the middle of that ball of light that you see. Is my discernment, my opinion. Let's look at this one. This is very recent too, December the 8th, 2024. Pretty weird looking. If you notice the clock that's ticking off that you can see up here on the top right, you notice that it's clicking off by seconds, so this video is not sped up. I'll say this. I've seen angels do this, and they leave this electrified trail behind them. I could say I wasn't there, so I can't vouch for sure and say, yes, that's this. But I can say I've seen personally, like I told the story earlier in the show, I've seen angels fly over my head, 25 foot above me, leaving this light streak behind them. I seen them on top of the mountains in New Mexico. I was there for 14 days. The first night, they appeared above the mountaintops, and then one struck off. And when it struck off, it left a streak of light behind it. Like what I later got to understand was like sparks. So this is very much good possibility, a genuine video of two angels cruising by. And they can fly much faster than this. I don't know how fast they can go. And they're not omnipresent. They can't be in all places at once. They are assigned to do whatever they're doing by whichever God they answer to. I'll just put it that way. I would like to think that all these angels are God's angels and they're all here for good. I just don't know the answer for sure, so I can't say it, even though I want to. You know, I can just say I'd like to, but that's about as far as I can get, or I might overstep my bounds. We can go ahead in case there was some of you wanting to see the rest of this video. I'll show it.
Что-то похоже на какую-то рекламу Банка России. Буду становиться посмотрите поближе. Просто в поле. Шар с анимацией. Какой это вообще? Жесть. Прикольно. Напротив Егора.
See, it's changing colors, flashing backwards and forth.
Находится.
To me, that strikes me as some kind of a man-made, super high-tech object that is designed and intended to emulate an angel. Because no one's ever going to convince me, I don't think, that all the angels I've seen were, it's too incredible. It's too many times, too many places. It's too intentional. Yeah, I mean, because who am I? How am I that special to have so many come to me like that? So the military is focused on me, where anybody else goes to the beach. Let's go see angels. Nothing happens. You tell me. I'll leave that up to you.
Короче, проеду что-то еще напротив Егора стану. Въездом Егора. Банк России. Так, это сейчас станет. Так, чтобы это было идеально видно. Идеально. Вот так.
Now it's rolling. So you see now then it took off rolling around in the snow, this giant ball flashing like a disco light. Yeah, what a trip. I'll drop the link to that in the chat in case somebody wants to watch the rest of it. I mean, there's so many different videos coming out right now. It's like, it's really hard. I've been trying, but it's really hard and really difficult to keep up with all of it.
I wanted to see what you had on the radio phenomenon that you were saying, how you were just slowing it down. Did you?
Yeah, what it is, I can explain it. I know I've got the video. It's just a matter of where it's at. Let me see here. All right, we're basically towards the end of the show. Let me try to do something here real quick. Let me pull up my editor. Pull up my editor. Let's go in here. Let's clean everything out.
I did want to mention real quick that there have been some reports of people who are getting symptoms in these sightings. And so just keep up your immune system, guys, because who knows what is being sprayed or done or whatever. So just keep your immune systems up.
Keep eating healthy. Don't be eating junk food.
Whole food.
Maintain your faith that no weapon wielded against us will succeed. Okay, here's the video, Shannon.
Okay.
I do have it in my editor here, and let me we'll play it one time here and listen to it.
What the fuck?
Sorry.
Language.
It's supposed to be Christmas music.
Okay, so it's supposed to be Christmas music, and it's going. It sounds like something out of an alien movie, right?
Like exactly like Signs, maybe.
Right.
It really. Just saying.
What it is it's audio that is slowed way down. Let me give you an example. Let me take this same video. I haven't done this yet, but I just know what it is. Let's increase this by 400% and see what it sounds like. Now, please forgive me for her words, but let's listen again. Don't have much there, but let's try. Might be too much speed. Let's change it to. Let's go to 200. What the fuck? I don't know what the speed is that they adjusted it to, but what it is just it's slowed down audio, simply as that. Because anytime you take audio and slow it down, let me see if I've got an example here that I could use maybe with somebody talking. Yeah, let's just use this right here. The LEDs with the inductors on them. See, there's no batteries, but anyways, I already explained all that. Let's pull that down here and let's change the speed a bit. Let's slow it down to 10%. 10%. Apply. Play.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
Exactly.
So as you can see, that's the exact same thing. And the only reason I knew this is because y'all guys allowed me to do this work, and I'm able to learn all these things. And I thank y'all guys. Y'all guys have given me the greatest gift that any man could ever ask for, which is the ability to focus my life on gaining knowledge, which is why I then turn around and bring it back to y'all guys and show you right here. Here's your truth about your flashing lights. And then the same way video, I'm able to show you, here's your truth about the audio that's being projected, sounding like aliens. It's just this stuff. Here comes some more. Sound like aliens talking to me. And that's how they did it in the old movies and everything too. It's amazing the things you can make things do when you start editing. Okay, so
Thank you, Daniel, for sharing that with our audience, because that again, it's along the lines of what deception is being pulled right now. And as I mentioned, the two big things emerging, that's people will get, things are going to change. People will be sick. There's going to be things going on. So just keep yourself spiritually protected. Pray to God. Say, hey, Jesus, just keep us safe in this, because we know that you're the only one who can do this. It's just, there's a lot going on at once. It's very traumatizing to the brain. And just keep focus on what the whole culmination, the whole bird's eye view is on everything and why this is happening. And that'll keep you a little sane during the insanity that's about to ensue.
Yeah, indeed. And thank you, T. Channa. Your email address. I've just seen you submitted a story on the Supernatural Show website, which any of you can do. You can go on the TheSupernatural.Show and submit your story of whatever's happened to you. And you can even be a guest on the show here with me and Shannon. And I think it was Mike said something in the comments. You have to understand, guys, I'm broadcasting live on 8 platforms. You're not going to see all the comments. No matter which platform you're on, you're not going to see everything that I see. I can see the comments on everything.
I can't even see all
You
the
may be a moderator. You may be a moderator on the Supernatural Show channel, but if you're not a moderator on the Logic Before Authority channel, you're over there on the Supernatural, and you're only seeing a couple of comments because it's a smaller channel. But over on Logic Before Authority, there's tons of them. But then the people on Logic Before Authority can't see the Supernatural Show. They can't see the Facebook comments that I can see. They can't see the Instagram comments that I can see. They can't see the Kick.com, the D-Live comments. They can't see the Rumble. I can see them all because I'm the host of the show. But I'm trying to help you understand why you're not seeing all the comments. There's nothing funky with it. It's just the way the system works when I have to broadcast to so many places to try to get the message out, you know. So I hope you understand, guys. Thank you, Mike Smith. I appreciate you being a moderator too, buddy. I appreciate your support. You've always been awesome for the channel. Somebody just texted me and said those things look like wings. Didn't get to read every bit of the text there. I got information coming at me from every direction. Trust me. But it's all good. I work for y'all guys, so I deal with it. I've gotten hundreds of texts in the last days, weeks, 1,000 maybe. Anyways, a lot. Just text messages. If I haven't responded to you yet, I will. If you made a donation to help me with pay the taxes on my house, because I live on the squeaky bottom. Just know that I thank you, and what I'm going to do is everybody's names that did contribute to that, I'm going to put it in the extra for the show, this coming next show that I do. It's just I've been so busy, it takes a while to edit in all those names. You got to go into all the accounts and paste and copy one after the other just to say thank you. But I do greatly appreciate y'all guys helping me continue. It means everything. It means everything to Father too, I'm sure. I'm sure he's proud. So, get out there, submit your story. If you've got a supernatural story, go to the website, TheSupernatural.Show, and submit your story for us to read on the channel like we've done many times here. We are going to do a live call-in show. I promised y'all guys. Today's Monday. We'll probably do it this Wednesday or Friday, actually.
Tuesday.
Oh, today's Tuesday. That's right. So we'll probably do it more like Friday, like a live call-in show, because I want to hear from y'all guys. I want to hear what you're seeing. I want to hear what you think, whether you disagree with me or not. We can all disagree, but what we can't do is fight. And what we can't do is turn our back on somebody because we disagree with them. That's why when you're in the comments, you're able to say anything you want as long as you're not using a lot of profanity, cussing each other out, because all you're doing is using black magic of the mouth, of the tongue. Your tongue is a manifestor, a weapon. It can be used to hurt people. If you tell somebody, you know what, you can't sing, you suck, that person believes you. They'll never sing again the rest of their life. You just changed that person's life. You've altered them. What do you think cursing is? It's cursing, placing a curse. I do everything I can not to say cuss words. I do slip every once in a while. I am human. And I definitely ain't perfect.
I'm bad at that. I'm not going to lie.
Well, we just have to,
I try.
We have to stop ourselves. We have to realize what we're doing. We're playing with black magic. Say, well, I only use it for good things. Well, then that's great. But we're talking about cursing. So, y'all guys can always disagree with me, just like I've got a poll up right now, and I want to take a look at it before we go. See what the poll says. I said, what do you believe is happening right now? Prepping for a fake alien invasion. Aliens are, second option is aliens are invading the earth. So the first option is there's a fake alien invasion being set up. The second one is aliens are invading the earth. And then the third is something else. I don't know what. So 36% of you, here, let me put this up so you guys can see it. 36% of you believe that, yeah, they're setting us up for a fake alien invasion. 13% of you are deceived and believe aliens are invading the earth. 51% of you are probably like me. I'm not sure what's going on for sure, but I think maybe that they're setting up a fake alien invasion. Revelations talks about war in heaven with the angels, and I'm not so sure they're not actually putting on something along those lines, or a setup for something kind of like that. Is I even did a video on it talking about it. They like to do this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But guys, we've been here quite a while today. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and like I say, we will be back again this week, probably on Friday, and I'll try to do the call-in show. And I've got it now set up where I can take calls, and it'll just work better. Okay. And I'm still looking for the person who calls in that I get to finally use my zonk on them, my gong like this. And
hillbilly dancer.
so I'm waiting on one of you when you try me again, because I'm gonna gong you and I'm gonna get rid of you. And then let's just leave the end then as to what I might do next. So with that being said, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We love you. We hope you gain something from the show today. And I would ask that y'all guys, from time to time, if you can, continue to support the show, this work, because this is all I do. You can't do what I do and do anything else. It's just, it is what it is. It's been this way for 15 years. So any last thoughts, Shannon?
If there is even just one of you out there watching this right now who haven't accepted Jesus Christ into your heart, I beg of you, I pray for you right now to please accept the most holy, amazing being of all the world who has saved us from peril. I know that sounds very dramatic, but it's true, because time is short and we just don't, no one is promised tomorrow. And now is the time, if you haven't already.
Hey, Shannon, what's the admission price for that?
It's free. It's absolutely
What
free.
do you got to lose? Is there something? Is there a catch?
No catch.
You kidding me?
Who knew?
But if any of the other saviors out there want money, and even like Trump, he wants money. If you can, send me just $5. And if you can't, do what you got to do. But I really want your money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's free. There's nothing to lose. Okay. Might want to think about it. I love you guys. We'll see you again real soon here on The Supernatural Show. Bye-bye, guys, for now.